Ukrainian political scientist Mikhail Sheitelman's first reaction to Assad's flight from Syria to Russia was sarcasm, so he joked about it. They write that Assad arrived in Moscow with his family. Putin gave him asylum. So what? They will have another fugitive president. Mikhail Sheitelman spoke about this on his YouTube channel. That's right. Let him live there in Moscow. That's good. They'll send him to Rostov. They need to rob someone. By the way, yesterday morning they said that Assad has tens of billions of dollars. He's a rich man. Now he'll come to Moscow and they'll charge him a fee for living in Barvikha. $10 million a day. If you want to live $1 million a day, don't want to pay? Look for yourself somewhere else. If you want to go to another country, go ahead. So he probably landed at a Russian airbase and then they took him out by plane, the political scientist suggested. After this, Mikhail Sheitelman recalled another similar case from world history. He's not the first one. Remember, President Kyiv was taken out of Kyrgyzstan on a military plane when he was overthrown by the people? Kyiv was overthrown, but on a Russian plane and delivered to Moscow. And so he lives there in the Moscow region. Yanukovych, you know where he lives. There are many of these refugee presidents living there. They like to hide them. They just rob them. Recall Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, who finally lost power on December the 8th after rebels entered Damascus, fled to Moscow. Russian propaganda agencies TASS and RIA Novosti wrote about this, citing sources in the Kremlin. According to the Saudi newspaper Ilav, which cited inputs from British intelligence service MI6, and the Assad family's fortunes amount to 200 tons of gold, $16 billion and 5 billion euros. The sum is equivalent to Syria's entire budget for 7 years when compared to data as of 2023, the report claimed. However, there was no way to cross-check this claim. The closest to an accurate account of Bashar al-Assad's wealth is a 2022 report by the US Department of State. The report estimated the finances of Bashar Assad and his wife Asma Akras Assad, his brother Maha Assad, sister Bushra Assad, cousins and uncles among others. The report begins with the confession that the calculations were largely based on open source information and they had no idea about the finances of Bashar's 3 children, Hafez, Zain and Karim, all adults, in 2024. The Assad family's net worth is believed to be somewhere between $1.2 billion, an estimate which the US Department of State couldn't independently corroborate. The Assads are directly or indirectly involved in almost all large-scale economic operations in the country. Tabulating their net worth is almost impossible for a party from the outside, as they have assets concealed in numerous accounts, real estate portfolios, corporations, and offshore tax havens. To avoid detection and avoid sanctions, they use dummies and false names, apart from running shell companies.
Video released by the Israeli army on Sunday showed forces operating in the Golan Heights and heavy machinery working on what the army said was a reinforcement along the Israel-Syria border. Israel said earlier its troops had seized a buffer zone in the Golan Heights established in 1974, saying it was to protect Israeli residents after Syrian troops abandoned their positions. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said earlier in the day that the 50-year-old agreement had collapsed and that Syrian troops had abandoned their positions, necessitating the Israeli takeover as a temporary defensive position. Israel captured the Golan Heights in the 1967 Mideast War and annexed it. The international community, except for the United States, views it as occupied Syrian territory.
Ethiopia